there with you.
Adds so much credibility to when he speaks, and then just willingness to be coached to learn. And also going to office.
Tim? Oh, shit, I'm outline. It's all right. I know what we're talking about. We're talking about the cats.
News Radio KMAN weather.
63 and sunny skies currently in Manhattan with winds gusting to the east at 10 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of around 44. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 74 with winds that could gust as high as 25 miles an hour in the southwest. Tomorrow night, mostly clear skies and a low of around 46. Going into Wednesday, sunny with a high near 64, and Wednesday night, mostly clear with a low of around 41. Up next, Wildcat Insider on News Radio KMAN.
Weather on News Radio KMAN is brought to you by Sunset Zoo. Come see Santa and walk the Luminary Trail November 29th and 30th. For tickets and times, visit sunsetzoo.com.
The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. This is Wildcat Insider with the Mercury sports editor Tim Everson and KMAN sports director Mitch Fortner.
I need the K-State men's basketball team to channel just a little bit of that Texas Tech defense, bring it to this season, and folks, they're going to be just fine. They're an NCAA tournament team. But can this men's basketball team play some defense? They can score the basketball. Do you rebound in football? Also need them to rebound offensively. We'll talk more about the K-State men's basketball team here a little bit later on in today's episode of Wildcat Insider. K-State women's basketball officially tips off their season tonight. Bramlage Coliseum, and I hope to see you all out there taking on the Omaha Mavericks. The K-State women, number 25 in the country. They open up in the top 25 of the coaches poll with almost a brand new team. The Omaha Mavericks in town for a 6:30 tip-off, and we will start pregame coverage at the top of the hour, or at 6 o'clock. The top of our second hour here on News Radio KMAN. Plus, of course, K-State football playing Texas Tech on Saturday. And storylines coming up in our second hour. Storylines for the K-State men's basketball team as they head into their season opener tomorrow against UNC Greensboro. And they tip off at 7, and pregame coverage will be at 6. Welcome to another edition of Wildcat Insider. Mitch Fortner with Tim Everson from the Manhattan Mercury and PowerCat Game Day. Cole Dutchendorf, Gavin Hyatt with us across the glass. And we would love to open up the phone lines and the text lines, whatever you have on your mind, if it's a question or a comment. We had a lot pouring in last week. Love that. Love the participation. So keep those texts and calls coming in. 785-537-1350. If you have a question or a comment, K-State football, men's or women's basketball, of course, are the topics here today. As today officially was the opening day of college basketball, the Baylor women's basketball team think they got it done, right? They got it done in Paris, beating Duke. Yeah. Congratulations to Little Paige, Ariana Little Paige Bugs.
Yeah.
And Duke women's basketball. She feels like she's been there for 6 years at this point, which also, by the way, we learned yesterday the appeal for K-State's Kennedy Taylor was denied. And I don't know if you all have a calendar handy.
Yeah.
But it was denied yesterday.
Just in time. They just squeaked it in there.
The day before we tip off the season, which it sounds like the appeals process went way quicker than the initial discussion if Kennedy was going to play or not this year.
Yeah, real just kind of a terrible situation, both for Kennedy, because she was basically, dangling all summer, not able to move on, but not able to fully commit to being on the team again next year. So unfair to her, first and foremost. But then now, this K-State team goes into the season with just one player that is taller than 6'1", and Ramiah White, and she's a sophomore who didn't play that much her freshman year at Virginia Tech. So, I mean, that's going to be a glaring weakness that they're going to have to work around this season, and there's just no way to fix it unless someone becomes available midway through the season that is, of the caliber that, both either character-wise or playing-wise that the team would want, but who knows? They're just kind of, SOL at this point on that end. But good thing is they can shoot a lot of threes. So
yeah, they can hit shots. We've only had the one example from what we've been able to see in person. That was the exhibition at Charleston State, which we got to talk about that last week. But I'm excited to see what they do on their actual home floor, be the the debut in front of the people. So that's exciting. We'll talk more about them in our second hour. K-State football drops to Texas Tech Harley Day Saturday, 43-20. That final score. We could spend 20 minutes breaking down the game. We'll do that a little bit. I don't think it's as important to do that this week because leading off, I want to tip my cap to Texas Tech. I think that's where you need to start. And I don't know if appreciate is the word, but I guess just respect what Texas Tech brings to the table. Because this day and age of NIL, I know that pisses off a lot of people that this is where we're at in college athletics. But it's where we're at. Millions of dollars college athletes are now making. And especially in football more than any other sport is where the money's being made. And Texas Tech has something that a lot of schools don't have, and that is a mega rich donors. I mean, I was talking to Paul, who told me he was in the suites on Saturday, and he told me after the game you wouldn't have believed how many private jets you could see at Manhattan Regional Airport.
Oh, I'll bet.
All the planes coming in, all the millionaires and billionaires for Texas Tech that came in and left once that game was over. Yeah, Texas Tech is well funded. I mean, and to put it in perspective, there's only one other program in college football that put more money towards NIL than Texas Tech this year. That's the Texas Longhorns. Texas Tech is a one-loss team, and I think Nick Saban said it a couple of weeks ago on College Game Day that, even if you have all this money, there's still the risk of not recruiting the right guys as leaders or as listeners or coachables and things like that. And I think Texas Tech, at least on defense, has hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
I thought Saturday was an example. I thought they've played better throughout the season. I mean, K-State racked up over 120 yards rushing. That's the most Texas Tech has allowed all this season as the number one rushing defense in the country. David Bailey and Jacob Rodriguez are two of the best defensive players in the country.
Legit.
Rodriguez forced 2 turnovers. He forced 2 fumbles. He now has 7 on the year. David Bailey had 1 tackle in the game. That was a sack. Do you know how many sacks he has this year through, I think, at 9 games now for Texas Tech? 11 and a half.
That's crazy.
The Big 12 record is 15 in a season. That was by a Texas Tech player, Sharp. Back when that was in Snyder when 2.0 kicked off in 2009. That is a very good team. Offensively, they probably don't have what it takes to make a run in the college football playoff. Defensively, I think they could stack up against the best. And K-State, honestly, I know I picked them to win on PowerCat Game Day. That's where my optimism, I was going to just go ahead and just buy in. Our optimism is probably as high as it's going to be. We're actually in the hunt for the Big 12 championship, believe it or not. So I'm going to just buy in, do it now. I feared for the worst, though. K-State honestly played better than I thought they would, despite losing 43-20 with Texas Tech pulling away there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, 9-point game midway through the fourth quarter before things started to spiral. The opportunity was there for K-State to cut it to a one-score game, for sure, and make things a little more interesting down the stretch. And credit to the Texas Tech defense, they just kind of they pulled their ears back and just came right at K-State's offensive line, and they just kind of crumbled. And Avery did his best to run around, but it was just too much. It just kind of all. It was like, you're holding up this boulder, you're holding it, and then one little thing slips, and you lose your footing, and then it just comes right down on you. And that's what happened. The final score is worse than what the game was. Although it is interesting that, with the exception of the Arizona State loss for Texas Tech, that is the closest, even with the fourth quarter flurry. That is the closest that anyone has played Texas Tech this season, minus the loss that they didn't have their starting quarterback in.
Yeah, Baron Morton was back. That interception he threw, it kind of takes me to where I actually really enjoyed what K-State did on Saturday was Austin Romaine.
Yeah.
I got some pushback last week about, I talked about Austin being this potentially All-American. It was actually Chris Kleiman that said that first. But I was listening and I kind of agreed with him. I thought Austin, with one hand, played a pretty darn good football game. 11 tackles, and Daniel Cobbs. I shouted him out on PowerCat Game Day. And I even on the show last week, I was like, this guy is really starting to – I'm noticing this guy. Daniel Cobbs is not somebody I expected to be a true playmaker this year. He has a couple of interceptions. He was second on the team in tackles, and he was very helpful against the run, which Texas Tech was hot and cold at times, but their hot was steaming hot, like kind of embarrassing for K-State with some of their tackling struggles. Austin with that interception, Ryan Davis with that fumble recovery, which was incredible. But Texas Tech did score on 6 straight drives, which at a time they just kind of felt unstoppable. But at the same time, they really did do enough for K-State to give the offense a chance. And I think we've been here a time or two where the defense has done enough to give the offense a chance. Yeah. The offense actually, it seemed like they stalled the most when the defense made a big play or made a big stop, and they weren't able to move the football. I mean, there was 3 times the defense took the ball away from Texas Tech, and K-State on those 3 drives had 9 total plays for 3 yards. I thought the offense really, most of their yards, about half the yards came on about 6 or 7 big plays. That tends to happen. The drops, the turnovers, yes, big factor. The drops from Jace Brown, the fumbles, Texas Tech being able to punch out the football. Look, Texas Tech just did what they're really good at. Yeah. Even Garrett Oakley covering the ball with 2 hands. Jacob Rodriguez still punched that out. He forced 2 turnovers in that game. And, I think it's just a mixture of both. Texas Tech making plays and K-State shooting themselves in the foot a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. I think that the opportunity for K-State to win this game was not in the fourth quarter. It was in that first quarter when Texas Tech is taking, it's kind of, their offense is not clicking the way that it should be. Baron Morton's missing passes. He's getting picked off. They're fumbling. K-State builds a little bit of a lead there. Tech is good enough that they still could have stormed back and won. But to have it only be, go up 7 early and then not really build on that was tough. And it's hard to, when you're trying to upset a team like that, you need some more of those things to go your way, and it just didn't happen.
And you just sparked a bullet point for me here, Tim. The one moment that made me the most upset on Saturday, and as I believe it was the second quarter, K-State's in plus territory. We have a 4th and 3, and we punt. Yeah. That didn't seem like a Chris Kleiman decision to me. It was a Chris Kleiman decision. What I mean by that's like not his MO. Like typically that's a go. The analytics say go, and he's an analytics guy. That's the reason they went for 2 on a play after a touchdown where they could have kicked the extra point, and it's an 8-point game. But again, analytics come into play. They say that look, you got to go for 2 at some point, right? Well, the odds are that you're going to catch them off guards and you're going to get the first try anyway, or something like that. But not going for it on 4th and 3 in plus territory, where you have a chance to, I think at the time, build a lead or take it back. I can't remember what it was at the time. That was kind of a pivotal moment for me, because then starting at that moment, Tech was really starting to play some solid football on both sides. And
it was especially puzzling because they had just gone for it on like 4th and 9, like the previous or two possessions earlier. And at roughly the same, part of the field, roughly. So that didn't make a whole lot of sense. But that's, this isn't a deal where it was just one decision. This was, there was just lots of little things that just kind of snowballed into, a 23-point loss.
I didn't think Avery played too bad.
No.
Threw for a touchdown. He ran for a couple. He's got Tech's number, it sounds like, or looks like, with rushing the football, because the last time K-State played Tech 2 years ago, he ran for 5 touchdowns as a freshman. He runs for 2 more, and that was, honestly, that was the fuel. Not for the most part, but it was at times the only way K-State was able to move the football is if Avery could pick up big chunks, or you had some medium to long throws. Avery did have one bad throw. It was on a 4th down and 10 that I thought Garrett Oakley ran the right route. It couldn't have been done better with the cushion that Tech was giving. It was at a time where K-State got the football back. It was after the Uso Seumalo sack, which to me is one of the plays of the season. Uso, I don't think it had a sack in 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
And Baron Morton just kind of got. He's not a great runner. He's an okay runner. He's an okay scrambler, but he's not like what we had seen in the past, like Jalen Daniels the previous week. And Usa just kind of came right at him and tripped him up. That was a huge play. That was the one time I thought I was maybe the most disappointed in the offense, that they weren't able to capitalize. A lot of passing. That's how you were going to have to probably beat Texas Tech, is get some explosive plays in the passing game as well, because it's going to be hard to run on that Red Raider defense. Avery throws 4 incompletions. The last one, though, was the most frustrating one because he throws behind Oakley. And that was where Garrett ran a great route. He sat in the zone. He ran right to the sticks, and Avery threw behind him. And it's like another one of those what-ifs, is if K-State gets that first down, there's potentially they're going up 2 scores, and it's game on from there. But still needed a lot to go K-State's way. And, again, a tip of the cap to Texas Tech for being a very solid football team that I think is going to be, I would assume, a team that will play for a Big 12 championship, and a team that I think could be a very great representative for the Big 12. This is a team to root for. This is a team that can go and compete against the teams from the SEC and the Big 10 and make some noise in the playoff that, what Arizona State wasn't able to do, this Texas Tech team, I think, can absolutely do it.
If BYU doesn't stop them.
I think Texas Tech they're going to win out.
I would tend to agree, but I'll next week's going to be real interesting.
Well, I think you root for Texas Tech to win out. You hope that as a Big 12 fan that wants to get the most Big 12 teams in the playoff. I mean, you're looking at 2 with Utah is on the bubble. They're on the outside looking in, but Utah's already played BYU. Utah should win out of this regular season, and then it just kind of comes down to, I shouldn't say it comes down to, it could very well be a rematch between BYU and Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game, but I think Texas Tech is the team you want to go all the way. Because I just think they're the better team.
I agree.
I think they're overall the best team in the conference, and I think Utah and BYU has done a good job now after. We'll talk more about it a little bit later on, but Utah has separated itself now from the rest because they beat Cincinnati. That's a huge win. But anyway, look, now we're in the portion of the K-State football season where we're in the last bye. You got Oklahoma State 11 a.m. kickoff a week from Saturday. I'm surprised I got ESPNU. I would have put that on plus myself. It's 11 a.m. kickoff at Utah. You host Colorado to wrap up the regular season. I think this is a 6-6 team. I think that's just what we're looking at now. They're going to go to the Who Cares Bowl. I mean, this was this was a disappointing season before Texas Tech. This shouldn't be the game like, all right, now we're firing everybody. Forget about it. I mean,
100%.
Texas Tech is a phenomenal team that just we knew on paper and NIL and throughout the season success that this was going to be a really tough one to win, and they just weren't able to get it done.
The damage to the season was done weeks ago. I mean, we're just kind of in a holding pattern. But real quick, you're telling me that you're not excited for Shreveport or Fort Worth in late December?
Well, don't forget about Memphis, maybe a Liberty Bowl.
Oh, I don't even know if we'll be that high.
They've taken a 6-6 K-State team before.
That's true.
That was 10 years ago or something like that. We were kind of talking about in the office earlier, like, where would we rather go? Shreveport.
You've at least never been to Shreveport.
I've been through it. I've been kind of to Shreveport. The only thing I remember about it is somebody crashed into a hotel front lobby. We drove right by it. That was entertaining.
Okay.
I don't know anything about Shreveport. I do like Louisiana.
Yeah.
I've been to the Liberty Bowl. I've never been to M&G Carter's. There's nothing. I mean, you're not going to. No, to answer your question, no. I'm not. Because if you see who the projections are for bowl games now for K-State, in Shreveport, it's like Kennesaw State, who became a
KSU versus KSU, baby.
Yeah. They became an FBS team like 2 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Liberty Bowl would be an SEC team, and then, well, the Armed Forces Bowl, right, or something like that, or First Responders Bowl in Fort Worth. I don't know who that would be against. Somebody in the military? Air Force?
I'd have to.
Navy?
Maybe.
Already played Army. That's not fun.
I don't think they want to play this Navy team either, but let's see. Bowl projections.
I mean, the only surprise we have left on the table are like a real, I don't even know what to call it, exciting thing to happen is if you could somehow go to Utah and beat the Utah Utes. Colorado's terrible. They are not bought in. I'm surprised. I shouldn't say I'm surprised. I'll give credit where credit is due that I believe Chris Kleiman has kept this team bought in the entire time. I mean, I didn't feel like I saw a lack. I mean, it's even gotten better, obviously, with the wins and losses, but still bought in. This Texas Tech game was a big game. Like, if you're Texas Tech, you were probably really worried about this game. It was like me and K-State fans worried about KU, and then it turns out, well, was there really anything to worry about?
Right.
Texas Tech, that was a sigh of relief to win that by double digits in a blowout win. It turns out there at the end you feel better about with that fourth quarter, how you were able to pile on, and now Texas Tech has the momentum heading into the final portion of the season. Gavin, did you have something?
Yeah, I just had a caller that called in, and they just said going to K-State was a mistake, or going to Ireland was a mistake for K-State to start it off in the season.
I mean, did we talk a little bit about that last week?
I don't know about last week, but I think we've had this conversation before.
I don't know what K-State got in return. That was just one of those things that if K-State won, great. If K-State didn't win it, yeah, mistake, all that stuff. I'm kind of, again, I'm a little bit neutral on this. Would I rather had that game at the Bill? I think so.
Yeah.
They're all about giving this experience to the players and all that stuff. I don't call it a mistake.
It's just so hindsight, It's hindsight. Yeah, like
it wasn't a bad loss. Losing to Army, losing to Arizona.
Yeah.
Those were
That's where things, almost losing to North Dakota.
Yeah, it's not Ireland where things spiraled or anything like that. They probably should have won that game.
Does Dylan Edwards, if he fumbles the ball out of bounds or muffs a punt at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, does he go and do something that hurts himself and makes him out for the rest of the season? If that's at Bill Snyder Family Stadium rather than being in Dublin, Ireland, is there a fracas between two members of Avery Johnson's extended family outside the stadium if that game's happening in Bill Snyder Family Stadium instead of Avila Stadium in Ireland? Probably not. I don't know. Look, if K-State had won that game, no one would be saying, "Oh, what a mistake." But they lost. They lost to what was going to be a very good Iowa State team, who I still stand by would be contending for a Big 12 title if injuries hadn't started to happen. It just, sometimes you just kind of get on the crap end of luck. And that's what part of this season has been for K-State, along with some not great coaching situations.
I mean, I personally didn't regret the Ireland trip.
Well, Mitch, you got to go. Time. So some of us were here.
I'm sure some regret trying to fly there and you get stuck in the airport for 18 hours and like half of the band and a lot of the guys in the media and a lot of fans that didn't get there till the day before because of all the travel issues.
Need Mason on this show. Mason will dispel your Ireland optimism. Let's
take a break. When we come back, holy cow, can this K-State men's basketball team score the rock? But are they going to play some defense? Let's talk some K-State men. Let me see the sorry, I forgot to bring my piece of paper in here about what we're going to talk about today. Plus, the voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson, joining us at 5:10. Men's basketball storylines, women's basketball getting their season underway as well. That's all coming up here on Wildcat Insider. You're listening to the Wildcat Insider on News Radio KMAN.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider.
At Buck Roofing and Construction, they do more than just roofing and gutters. They also offer a wide range of siding options as well. Whether you are in need of siding, a whole new roof, gutters, or just a repair, Buck Roofing can do it all. Call for a free, no-obligation estimate today, 785-230-9379, or visit ourbuckroofing.com. Buck Roofing, where quality and professionalism come first.
Stormont Vale Health is your go-to for exceptional care right in your own neighborhood.
The Flint Hills campus in Junction City is open 24/7 with a full-service hospital and rural health clinic. You'll find primary care and advanced lab services at our Wamego clinic to keep your family healthy without the drive. Our Manhattan campus offers a wide range of primary and specialty providers, plus imaging and lab services, and a pick-me-up at Radina's inside our campus. Visit stormontvale.org.
Stormont Vale Health. High-quality care closer to home.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The Dodgers have become baseball's easy villain. Back-to-back World Series titles and a payroll that makes most owners blush. That's made them the poster child for buying success. Fans outside L.A. have grown weary of the headlines and the checkbook that never seems to close. But here's the thing. Maybe that's not the worst thing for baseball. In a sport long plagued by financial imbalance, the Dodgers' spending spree might actually force the rest of the league to evolve. You want to catch them? You have to spend, scout, strategize smarter. That means deeper rosters, bigger stars, and yes, more compelling matchups. Parity doesn't always come from cutting costs. Sometimes it comes from raising the bar. The Dodgers aren't ruining the game. They're redefining the standard. And if that pressure creates a league where every contender feels the urgency to compete, well, then maybe, just maybe, the Dodgers are exactly what baseball needs. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
I've worn the uniform. I have stood beneath our flag, and I have fought for what it stands for. I'm Megan Terry, and I serve in the U.S. Army. At Collins Flags, that feeling of pride goes into every single stitch because they're made right here in the USA by folks just like me. This Veterans Day, show your love for the men and women who serve. Fly a Collins American or military flag with honor. Buy yours at collinsflags.com today. That's collinsflags.com. American made, proudly waved.
Here's the tale of the daily Medfield. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common, preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
If you've missed the Kim Commando Show, you've missed a lot.
Yeah, they forced Claude to unlearn all the information it got from the pirated technology.
And it's a $1.5 billion landmark settlement. A reader from the current newsletter sent me a note. He put his name in. He made $6,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah, not bad for getting a free newsletter.
America's digital goddess.
Kim Commando. Kim Commando. Saturday mornings at 9 on News Radio, KMAN.
I'm Gavin Hyatt with a Wildcat Insider sports update brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. K-State football has received another commitment for the 2026 class, going over the pond to land Swedish defensive tackle Adrian Bekebele. Bekebele is a part of PPI Recruits, a group in Europe that tours the United States. When on tour in 2024, he received offers from Georgia and Florida, as well as Buffalo and Sacramento State. Bekebele is the second defensive tackle in the 2026 K-State class, joining Kingston Hall out of Oklahoma. The Big 12 Conference and ESPN announced Monday that Kansas State's November 15th contest at Oklahoma State will kick at 11 a.m. and be televised on ESPNU. This week is K-State's third and final bye week of the season. K-State women's basketball player Kenny Taylor has had her waiver for a 5th season of eligibility denied by the NCAA, the school announced on Sunday. Taylor petitioned for the NCAA for a 5th year of college eligibility after starting her career at Colorado in the 2021-22 season, where she played in only 8 games for a total of 19 minutes. She then played 2 seasons at Missouri State before joining the Wildcats. During her 1 season in Manhattan in 2024 and 2025, Taylor played in 36 games and averaged 7.1 points and 5 rebounds per game. K-State women's basketball will tip at 6:30, pregame at 6 p.m. on Sunny 102.5 and News Radio KMAN.
Wildcat Insider continues. Mitch Fortner, Tim Everson, you know, from Power K Game Day and the Manhattan Mercury. Gavin and Cole across the glass. We got a text right before we went to the break. Can you think of any KSU team that has been a bigger disappointment? I've kind of phrased this season up as like men's basketball last year that just kind of had a real rough start. And then middle of the year, you get hot, you beat some decent teams. Men's basketball had some big wins during that stretch when they won 6 straight, including win over KU. They beat Arizona. And then, of course, kind of back to reality during that, you know, the tail end of last year. And then K-State men's basketball, you know, the Texas Tech opportunity was their opportunity to kind of shock the world and truly make a comeback, prove themselves on national television. Fox was in town. It was a Jason Benetti, Robert Griffin III, broadcast, and you fall short there in the second half. Too many turnovers, 5 in the game plus 4 turnover on downs. But anyway, back to the question. I've actually been asked this question before. My mind goes back to 2004.
That was one of I have 2. That was one of mine. Go ahead.
Well, just 2004. You have Darren Sproles back. I don't remember everything about that team. I just remember having Sproles back was a big deal. And then you come out of the gate. I mean, K-State seemed to like this was supposed to be a really good K-State team. It was one of the highest preseason rankings ever for K-State. They were number 13, I believe, to open up that season. And then they host Western Kentucky, and they win 27-13. And then Fresno State comes in, and K-State just gets their butt whooped by Fresno State. And then you play Louisiana Lafayette, you win by 20 points. And then you start 0-3 in Big 12 play, you lose in Lawrence. Yeah. That year, even though this season isn't over yet, honestly, I would say 2004 was a more disappointing year than this year is. I mean, that 2004 year sucked.
Yeah, and you're coming off of, obviously a Big 12 championship. That's big. You're right. I don't remember everything else that was coming back aside from Sproles, but there was more than just Sproles. My other answer, I was trying to find when this would have been. I think that, yeah. So,
I mean, you could probably throw in Ron Prince.
I was going to say 2007.
07, because you came off, you lost to KU, but you had that win over Texas.
You go into KU ranked after beating Texas, and that is the alleged Josh Freeman out the night before.
That was 2000. Excuse me. That was 2007.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
I said 2007. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes, they did beat Texas.
Yeah.
The Ron Prince stomp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You're coming off the bowl win the year before. Yeah. You play Auburn close. That was good.
I think they lost that bowl.
Started a lot of bowl loss. You're coming off the bowl appearance. His first season.
Ray Rice.
Rutgers. You play Auburn close to start the season. That ended up being a really good Auburn team. And then you only lose by 10 at Auburn to number 18 Auburn. You beat Texas. You go in ranked 24th to play KU, and you lose 24-30. Lose at Oklahoma State after jumping back into the rankings briefly after beating Colorado. And then you end the season by losing in a row Iowa State, Nebraska, Missouri. And then you make a terrible, terrible end of the season trip to Fresno State, and you lose by almost 20.
I think those could be the candidates.
Yeah.
For sure. K-State men's basketball. I think we just had a couple more come in. I have to check these here in just a second. Somebody responded, 2004 football. I mean, I think that's the answer, but I think Ron Prince in 07 is right up there as well. K-State men's basketball, I hope, Tim, you've been able to watch them the last 2 Fridays, because Cole and I, we have not, because we've been calling Manhattan High football, but following along just by what the stats have been kind of a roller coaster ride, because Friday against Newman, you see K-State scores 59 points at half. All right, they're hitting some shots. It's going to be a good offensive team. And then you see that Newman scores 50.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I love this or just absolutely hate this.
It's different.
This is a total mixed feelings exhibition run for K-State hoops. You go to Missouri, you score 90, but you give up a hundo.
Yeah.
But they still, shoot the ball quite well. I think that game did kind of bring out the one maybe major worry about not having a great defense so far. And I saw some highlights against Newman. Not every three-pointer, they hit 18 of them. Jesus. That was just a red-hot night.
Would have been a record if it were a regular season game.
Not everyone was completely wide open. Some were contested. But that Mizzou game, there was a sequence there in that first half where K-State's offense did kind of have a lull. The defense wasn't there. It snowballs, and K-State was never able to recover. Like that right now is, to me, the biggest weakness. Defense, but at the same time, what happens if the offense isn't just scoring lights out? There's no way for K-State to come back, because on top of that, I think the rebounding has been real rough. I scratch my head and think, like, is anybody going to teach them to box out? Are kids not being taught to box out on rebounds anymore? And such a short team like Newman had 16 offensive boards for 17 second chance points.
It's not good.
That right there is going to get you in a ton of trouble. Yeah. However, offensively, shooting 36.5 from three, 54.7% from the floor, and 66% from two. I think they have kind of proven to us that they got some scores on this team. And I tell you what, I know it's been Newman and then Mizzou, who's certainly a quality team. PJ Haggerty is legit. That's a dude that can score the rock. 50 combined points in the two exhibitions. He can score at all levels. Mm-hmm. He really makes it look easy. I love his ability to get to the rim. He's a star. He is a star. Abdi Bashir, I thought, played very well from what I saw in the Newman game. He scores 25 points. He hit 5 3-pointers. PJ actually only shot, he was 0 for 2 from 3. He was taking it to the rock, or to the hoop all night long. The supporting cast around them, with the exception of Nate Johnson, I think has had quite a bit of ups and downs. I'll let you take it further, Tim, on what you thought about K-State through the two exhibitions and what stood out, maybe individually or team-wise.
Yeah, I'll just double back on PJ Haggerty real quick. Fluid, scores at all levels really, really well. He gets to the line. He loves to get into the paint. K-State fans will love that. That's the special point guards that they've had come in. They haven't really had that aspect to them. Going back, you have to go back to Marquise Noel to have a guy that wants to go down and get you a bucket in the paint. So that's going to be great. Abdi Bashir, I'm still waiting to. I know he had 25 versus Newman, but guys, it is Newman. They are picked like in the middle of the MIAA. It is all respect to them, but that I appreciate the optimism, but I was not feeling great after the end of the second exhibition. I wanted to see perhaps a little more dominance. Jerome Tang said that they spent a lot of their camp period getting this new offense from Coach Matthew Driscoll installed. That apparently took a lot of the time getting a lot of the terminology down. They more recently have started getting kind of the defense where they need it to be. So you hope that just continues to improve as they make it their way through this non-conference. But aside from those two, Nate Johnson, a little inconsistent offensively, and then it's just kind of it's tough to see where his individual defense is when, as a whole, the defense is not very good. But we'll see from there. Aside from that, it's been kind of a little like it's been different people every time. Andre Koch has had his moments. Moby has had his moments. Elias Rapiak has had his moments. David Castillo was actually quite good versus Newman. I would say that he was, of all the secondary role players, I was most impressed to see kind of his confidence in shooting the ball, something that was not there last year. So they're going to be a work in progress for sure. They need. Kamari McGriff is another person that's like interesting, but not great. So far, none of the bigs have really shown any kind of like super dominant signs, but it's super early. They haven't even played a real game yet. I'm not overly concerned about it necessarily, but they gotta find a third consistent scorer with PJ and with Abdi.
Yeah, I mean, 2 exhibitions. We've had 2 NBA games.
Yeah,
a ton of offense, not the most defense, jacking up threes. I have no idea if this team is going to be good. No idea.
Yeah.
I expect them to score some points. There's no doubt about that. And they get, obviously, out of the gate here, there's going to be some regular season games against teams that you hope K-State should be able to beat up on and try some things defensively and work on that into the floor. As Coach Tang, I mean, he mentioned it at the press conference after the game against Newman that, listening back, he said these 2 exhibitions were really treated like practice, as you mentioned, really installing the offense. And then in the second game, working on defensively, like what didn't work against Mizzou, which was obviously transition D. It was terrible against Missouri, where they allowed 29 in fast break, and then against Newman they allowed 7. They got back on D. There's still a lot to work on from what I could tell, including obviously rebounding, and that in defense was 2 major concerns I had about this team so far. Yeah, and right now it's not great. It's not great so far. So, but gosh darn it, they can score. I mean, that's why we're here, right? We want them to score the basketball, and that's how you win games. Some say, well, defense wins championships. Some say the best defense is a great offense. I don't know.
You probably want a mixture of both.
There's going to probably be, this is going to probably be out of the gates a love-hate team.
Yeah.
You're going to hate the way they play defense, but if they score, you're going to love that they're scoring the basketball and putting up some big numbers.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think that, it's been super interesting this year with all of these public exhibitions just around the game that it's not been – this has kind of been the first year where those have been a lot of the bigger ones have been televised and they've been promoted. So it feels like the season has started even though it really hasn't. And so we're just not going to know what this team actually looks like. PJ Haggerty's going to play a lot more minutes than he's played in both of those scrimmages. They were working people out. Guys like, no offense, like Taj Manning and Xavier Wilson are not going to be playing, major, not major, but like significant for them minutes versus teams that, you need dudes to beat. And so, until they get that figured out, I'm reserving judgment. I'm reserving worry. I'm whatever happens. But Tuesday will be interesting. One last note on the roster that I have it's weird that we haven't gotten an answer. Because coming into the year, Marcus Johnson, I don't think anyone expected him to be a star, but I think considering what he did at Bowling Green, people expected him to be a role player for sure. At least someone off the bench. He was the only person on the K-State roster because Stephen Osei, who we thought would be redshirting this season, is perhaps not redshirting and played versus Newman. Was the only player to not get any minutes in either exhibition. And when Tang has been asked about that, he's just said there aren't any, I'm going to try different things. I let him know before the game that he wasn't going to get any minutes. So just like, that's fine. If he's hurt or banged up, it's weird not to just say that. Maybe he's just Tang is just trying to do a better job of not, talking about players and problems in the locker room. And if that's the thing, we don't know. We do not know. And it's just weird.
We need to take a break. Last week in the Big 12 coming up next.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider.
Whether it's game day or a night out with great live music, Bottle Cap Sports Bar delivers the atmosphere you're looking for. It's Manhattan's go-to spot for catching every Wildcats or Chiefs game and enjoying live music that plays the songs you actually know. Come early for a good seat, great music, and cold drinks served up right. Stay in the loop. Check out their Facebook page for the full schedule of events. Bottle Caps, where the music's live, the game's always on, and the vibe is just right.
Bottle Cap Sports Bar located on West Anderson across from Dairy Queen.
Hi, I'm Leah McKeeman. I grew up in Kansas where I learned the value of hard work and the difference a great teacher can make. Those lessons inspired me to become a teacher myself, and now, as a K-State professor teaching pre-service educators and a mom of 4, I see every day how education shapes our future. I'm running for the USD 383 School Board to expand learning opportunities, empower teachers, and strengthen communication between families and schools. I'd be honored to earn your vote on or before November 4th. Paid for by Leah for 383, Lacey Deering, Treasurer.
In Manhattan, building community means more than bricks and beams. It means innovation and partnership. At McCown Gordon Construction, we deliver feature-focused solutions to projects that shape our region. From advanced research labs to vibrant education, healthcare, and community hubs. We're not just building projects, we're building the future of the Flint Hills with unmatched customer experience and value-driven strategies. We're building for tomorrow. Visit kansas.mccown-gordon.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Morrison, and I'm running for Manhattan City Commissioner. In my opinion, it's time to change the Commission's focus to control the city budget so any tax increases are tax neutral within a balanced budget. We need stronger fiscal accountability, better communication with citizens, and to focus on needs over wants. Let's fix and maintain our streets first and hold new projects until they can be funded without raising property taxes. Paid for by Morrison for City Commission Treasurer Mark Knockendoff.
Save big money on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. We carry the largest in-stock selection of Hunter ceiling fans. They provide consistent comfort all year round and also help reduce energy costs. Right now, save big on Hunter ceiling fans when you shop at Menards. View our entire selection of Hunter ceiling fans today on Menards.com. Plus our weekly flyer with plenty more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
It's hard to understand people on TV, so you use closed caption because you can't understand or hear them. Guess what? You don't have to live like that. I know because I solved my hearing loss with the help of hearing aids from Focus Hearing, a locally owned hearing center that offers all major brands. They accept all Medicare plans and have better pricing than the national franchises. Let Focus Hearing let you hear again. 913-380-4200 or online at myfocushearing.com.
Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, beep. All right. Last week in the Big 12, Utah, very impressive win over Cincinnati, 45-14, that final score. How about Utah holding the ball for 40 minutes in this game? That was just a dominant game and a big win for Utah that may back their way into the college football playoff because they're right now ranked 17th. They need to win out. It's kind of in an interesting spot because they could win out and not even make the Big 12 championship game. And, I mean, I'll see what happens tomorrow with the college football playoff ranking, but they could kind of, who knows, back their way into the college football playoff. And, you know, there could be an opportunity where the loser of the Big 12 championship game doesn't get in, depending on who it is.
Yeah.
I know it's just I'm kind of spitballing here on what the scenarios could be, but like Utah kind of sitting right now at 17 in the AP. You see where the playoff committee, I don't know if they put them that high. High as 17. That could maybe paint a story where, okay, maybe they don't get in based on who's in front of them.
Well, and does the committee take into account, you know, Devin Dampier being hurt a little bit in there and them having to deal with that? I know they've taken that in account in the past, so I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Houston screwed themselves. They lost to West Virginia. It's like the first time in like 8 years they haven't won the blackout game. They wore the black in case they lost that game last year. But that final score, they lose to West Virginia, 45-35. Baylor stomps UCF 40-30. Iowa State falling to Arizona State. Boy, both of those teams were certainly needing a win. Arizona State without Sam Levin. By the way, he's out now for the rest of the year. Boy, they go on the road. That's a big win for the Sun Devils. They're now 6-3, 24-19 the final. Iowa State has now lost 4 in a row, their longest losing streak since 2022.
Free falling.
Oklahoma State loses, but covers.
Yeah.
Who'd you take on the Power Cake game?
I took KU to cover, which honestly, bad job by me.
38-21, Jayhawks win it. They're now 5-4. So they're a game away from bowl eligibility. Oklahoma State has now lost 16 in a row in Big 12 play. And then the last game, holy cow. Colorado, you are a mess. Like, hey, it could be worse, folks. Arizona beat Colorado 52-17. I mean, Arizona basically took a knee in the third quarter because it was horrible for Colorado. Wildcats had 5 turnovers, scoring 6 on their first 7 drives. Colorado, how about this nugget, have been outscored by halftime 81-7 in the last 2 games.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the second game in a row that they've just gotten absolutely wiped off the face of the earth. It's bad.
I mean, it's a clear picture that K-State should be at the very least a 6-6 team. You want to talk about disappointment at this point in the year? The disappointment lies of what if K-State were to lose Oklahoma State or Colorado? That would be bad. Yeah. That would be real bad. So K-State should go 6-6.
They should.
Utah is the only one that's like, probably not. Probably not. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
We got to wrap up the hour. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, it is hour 2 of Wildcat Insider. We're going to talk to the voice of the Cats, Wyatt Thompson. He'll get us some feedback on K-State Texas Tech, plus get us set for the Cats home opener in men's basketball. The regular season opener tomorrow against UNC Greensboro. More Wildcat Insider coming up next. KMAN.
My name's Billy Segrist, and I had the pleasure of using interim hospice care for both my mom and my husband. Fred was about 6 months and maybe 4 months for my mom that needed care. When they started my husband, they thought he'd probably be a 1 or 2 year patient. And as it turned out, it went a lot faster than we had expected. But just knowing that I had them on board and I could call interim anytime and ask questions or have someone come out anytime I needed them made it really nice. I would strongly encourage, if you're thinking you're going to need some assistance, to call Interim Healthcare. They can deal with both home health as well as the hospice, and they're a great support group for you.
Interim Healthcare and Hospice. We improve people's lives.
We care, we're there. Interim Healthcare.
Hello, Manhattan. I'm Jamie Minton, and I'm running for Manhattan City Commission. I believe in a Manhattan where businesses grow, families thrive, and our economy is strong. I'm committed to making Manhattan more investment-friendly, simplifying processes, and making decisions that create smart growth and empower our future. I look forward to continuing to serve this community and bring a positive impact to Manhattan. I'd be honored to earn your vote. On November 4th, vote for progress, accountability, and community. Vote Minton for Manhattan. Paid for by Minton for Manhattan, Kevin Lowell, Treasurer.
At ESB Financial, we think it makes sense to pay you. That's right, get paid 5.04% annual percentage yield on balances up to $20,000 with our free Kasasa Cash checking account. We'll even refund your ATM fees nationwide, and the best part is there's no monthly service charges or minimum balances to keep. All you have to do to earn your rewards are a few simple things each month. The best part? These things make banking easier. Visit esbfinancial.com to learn more. Special terms may apply. ESB Financial, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
From lending options to treasury management services, KS State Bank provides innovative solutions to help your business succeed. KS State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. KMAN, Manhattan.
CBS News Brief. As the government shutdown continues, the Trump administration says it will partially fund the SNAP food aid program. Here's Vicki Barker.
The Justice Department affirmed that the Trump administration is indeed working to pay out SNAP benefits and that the full contingency fund will be empty today. That will result in reduced SNAP benefits being paid out for November.
The flight's delays and the lengthy security lines at airports continue. This flyer at Boston's Logan.
It's awful. That's all I can say. And I travel a lot, so this is really, just another thing to cause anxiety.
OpenAI signed a deal with Amazon to use Amazon's cloud services. Tech contributor Ensure.
OpenAI's deal with Amazon is a vote of confidence in the cloud provider, which is important a couple of weeks after a technical glitch at Amazon took down vast swaths of the internet.
On Wall Street, stocks finished mixed. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
Now, the latest news from the News Radio KMAN and Manhattan Mercury Newsroom.
Coming up in the news, inflation for students has seen huge increases. Riley County is looking toward the future, and a new audit of Kansas Medicaid has uncovered major red flags. Hello, I'm Nathan Gaddy with your evening news. Data annually collected by the Kansas State University Economics Club shows the average student cost of living is nearly 25% higher than that of the average American. The 2025 Student Price Index increased by 3.6% from 2024, while the National Consumer Price Index increased at a rate of 2.9% before seasonal adjustment as collected by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The SPI is based on price of consumer goods frequently purchased by K-State students. Club Vice President Landon D. Leonardo, a senior finance major from Topeka, said the rising inflation isn't a total surprise.
It's to be expected. Manhattan's typically a cheaper place than most cities in the United States, and I think it's slowly starting to catch up. It is a little bit surprising to see that much inflation year over year, but, it's getting more and more expensive, especially K-State tuition costs went up 3.5% this year, so it's pretty much in line.
Faculty advisor Daniel Keister has helped organize the annual student-led data collection effort since 2002.
We are the longest running continuous price index in the United States for any college. There are several schools that have mimicked this and do it for their own universities and areas, but we go out and get the prices of goods and services that the average K-State student is inclined to purchase. We measure the bundle every year just the way the BLS would do the consumer price index.
Items like groceries are up over 5% year over year. Tuition was in line with the national index at a 3.5% increase, while textbooks increased 12%, though Keister says fewer classes are requiring textbooks. Riley County officials are inviting the public to review and comment on the latest draft of the county's comprehensive plan, officially titled Riley County Together 2040. The plan will replace the county's existing Vision 2025 plan, outlining land use goals, growth priorities, and ways to implement those strategies through 2040. County Planner Amanda Webb told commissioners Monday the draft plan is now available for viewing on the county's website.
It does need some help, not unexpected. It's fairly standard to need some help. But again, I wanted to get it out there as soon as we were able to, to give the public the chance to take a look.
Several outreach opportunities are planned, including a community workshop from 6 to 8 p.m. on November 12th at Pottorff Hall. Officials from the county's consultant firm Stantec will present an overview of the plan and answer questions.
We're just wanting to get input from folks, answer questions, hear any things anybody has to say. Hopefully we'll get some good input with all these events.
Additional work sessions with the Riley County Planning Board and the Manhattan Urban Area Planning Board are scheduled for November 10th and 17th. Public hearings for both boards are expected in early December, with final adoption of the plan targeted for December 18th. The first audit under expanded powers for the Kansas Inspector General's office has uncovered major issues in the state's Medicaid system. Inspector General Stephen Anderson told lawmakers his office identified 17 problems, including claim denials, billing inconsistencies, and a possible conflict of interest with United Healthcare, one of the state's managed care providers. Anderson says hospitals are losing millions from denied claims. One provider even denied $1.8 billion in claims last year, with 70% tied to hospitals. Anderson says the audit is the first in a series targeting fraud and inefficiencies in Medicaid, food, and cash assistance programs. Senator Renee Erickson of Wichita praised the effort, saying the findings show a need for all sides to get together and work it out. Beloved community leader and longtime K-State figure C. Clyde Jones, affectionately known as Mr. Manhattan, died Friday at the age of 102. Jones became Kansas State University's first dean of the College of Business in 1960 and helped shape the university's athletics department, playing a key role in the creation of Bill Snyder Family Stadium. He was also known for his deep community service, including his work for Shepherd's Crossing and organizing the annual Sea Clyde Run at Midge's Mile fundraiser. Services will be held Saturday, November 15th at 11 a.m. at the First United Methodist Church on Points Avenue, with visitation and lunch to follow.
News is powered by Central National Bank, with locations at the Walmart Supercenter and at College and Claflin. Central National Bank, member FDIC. News Radio, KMAN, weather.
59 and sunny skies currently in Manhattan, with winds gusting to the northeast at around 8 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies and a low of around 44. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 74, with winds that could gust between 10 to 15 miles an hour in the southwest in the morning. Tomorrow night, mostly clear skies and a low of around 46. Going into Wednesday, sunny with a high near 64, and into that night, mostly clear skies with a low of around 41.
K-Man Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452. You know, Gavin playing the theme song to Unsolved Mysteries coming back in reminded me of, you know, here's the big question. Who had more takeaways? Texas Tech's defense on Saturday or the K-State fan experience staff taking away tortillas from fans at the game? Because it sounded like there was some of that going on, especially in the student section. I remember right before kickoff, there were some Texas Tech fans sitting like fifth row wearing some cowboy hats, and one of the guys was sitting on a stack of tortillas. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, what self-respected person would eat a tortilla cold? I was trying to hide them. I was like, you moron, you don't take them out of your shirt or wherever you're hiding them until it's time to throw them.
I will say they probably fly better cold, though. Tortillas. It's just...
Quite the scientist, huh?
Well, I did.
Is this a project when you were a sophomore?
Yes, it was my... No. I just, they're a little stiffer when they're cold. And so I think that would make for a more like regular Frisbee-like experience, I would assume.
Well, we'll buy some and we'll go test them out.
Please, let's do it.
All right. I was told there was quite a few tortillas that were taken away from people either trying to get into the game or they were seeing, I don't know if somebody pointed them out on the cameras or some eyewitnesses from some security or something. They were going to try to throw some tortillas. And I know. We have to, as I was told by somebody from Fan Experience, we have to enforce the tortilla rules just as strictly as Texas Tech does. Doesn't matter who we're playing, even if it is Texas Tech or not, or if it's Cincinnati. We got to enforce the tortilla rule, or any flying or any throwing objects rules, because nobody wants to be fined $100,000.
That's fair. To be honest, like when we were like, hey, free the tortilla or whatever, for me, that only applies to Texas Tech home games. I don't want them to. They can bring them to bowls, whatever. But I draw the line there. They don't get to bring the tortillas with them.
I mean, heck, get away with it. Texas Tech fans going on the road, throwing them on the road. It's the home team gets the penalty, right?
That would be real bad.
You can also, you're risking yourself getting kicked out of the game. I would imagine there's got to be a zero tolerance for that, no doubt about it. All right, let's get to Wyatt Thompson. He's our special guest as he helps us lead off every week here on Mondays, here in hour number 2. Wyatt, have you ever been involved in a food fight?
In a food fight?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. Have you?
Kinda. Like, I remember in high school, sometimes we'd kind of throw a grape or something across the room at somebody. A small one.
I don't ever remember doing that. I just don't. Maybe I was the good kid one time. I don't know. I just don't remember that at all.
Well, we also didn't get whoopings in my day going through school, so maybe you had that kind of over your head, you know what I mean?
Well, I got a few whoopings.
Yeah.
My dad was pretty strict. And you know what? That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. As he once said, I never got one that I didn't deserve. How's that?
Yeah,
as all of yours?
As I look back, the whoopings I got, yeah, I probably deserved every one of them.
Sure.
I remember trying to body slam my sister one time and fighting my dad. I was like, yeah, I probably deserved it at that time for sure. The final score says butt whooping. Maybe I wouldn't go that far, but K-State does lose to Texas Tech. Final score 43-20. Who is Texas Tech's best player on defense? Would you give it to Jacob Rodriguez or is it David Bailey?
That is such a hard decision for me because they're both such game wreckers. I think in our particular game, I would have to say Rodriguez because of the two forced fumbles and just some of the plays that he made. But Bailey is so difficult. They have a lot of really good players, but I do think those two guys are special. The other guy that I really worried about going into Saturday, it was on the offensive side, but Jacoby Williams was unbelievable. 135 rushing yards, just such a good receiver out of the backfield. Got a lot of shake to him. They're talented, man. They don't necessarily wow you offensively, but for the first time since I've been at K-State, you can watch them defensively and go, ooh, that's pretty good stuff.
Well, I asked you just kind of overall how you felt about how well K-State played against Texas Tech. With my optimism, I know Texas Tech is a great team, obviously. I knew that going into the game, especially how just solid they are on defense. They're just so good. It's money well spent for Texas Tech, there's no doubt. But I took all my optimism and kind of in an all-in hand, just kind of shoved them in the middle, and let's see what the Cats can do and believe in K-State to get this victory. They don't. But did K-State play better than you were expecting, or how would you grade that out?
Well, it's a good question, too, because I was expecting them to compete and have a chance. And as I look back on the game, visiting with one of the guys at work today, what I said was I felt like for the first quarter and probably till about the 6.5, 7-minute mark of the second quarter, I think better team. Now, it didn't end up that way, and as you said, the final score would tell you that it was a butt whooping, but I don't necessarily see it like that. K-State made some mistakes that they have not been making lately. You can't turn the ball over 5 times, and they did. A couple of interceptions, 3 forced fumbles and lost fumbles and those types of things, but I really think when it's all said and done, for me, the difference in the game, and I was looking at some of those numbers during a break in postgame, and I noticed that the total number of yards on first down plays for the two teams, and don't hold me to this as 1,000%, but it was roughly, I think, 175 yards for Tech and about 65 to 70 yards for K-State. That's a monumental difference, man. And think about how many times that K-State was 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11, those kind of things. It's hard to make a living against it, especially that defense when you don't have that success that you strive for on first down.
I agree with you. I at the very least, I expected K-State to compete, and I would say they really competed up to about maybe the 10-minute mark in the fourth quarter. Kind of felt like just feeding off the energy of the place. It felt like optimism kind of ran out, though, in the second half, because K-State was just struggling to move the football. Do you look at the offense and what to you was the difference in the game? Was it the turnovers? How would you – because I felt like at times, they were playing better than I thought they were. I thought the offensive line played better than I thought it would. But do you feel like was the game lost because of the offense?
Well, I think you could probably make that statement and get away with it, especially from a couple of different factors. we had talked about how in the previous 4 games, how Avery had thrown for a little bit over 900 yards, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, was pretty clean, ran the ball pretty well. Do you agree with all of that?
Yeah, for sure.
What happened on Saturday was he had his worst day throwing the ball percentage-wise, 16 of 33, intercepted twice. I don't have in front of me how many times he was sacked, but more than that, just pressured. You know what I mean? It was a long day for him because there were people in his face constantly. He took some pretty good shots, what have you. But the rushing part of it, too, I remember talking to Matt Wells and asking him about, game plan and that. And I just flat out said, can you run against these guys? And his answer was, yes, but you got to get the right angles. Go back and look at what K-State did on Avery's 46-yard jaunt there in the first quarter. That was an angle play, and they got a good block on the boundary. But if you take that play out, and I know you can't do that, but, I mean, Joe Jackson averaged 2.5 yards. Devon Rice, 1 yard. It wasn't consistent enough to really threaten them. And you said that well. I mean, the game at 29-20, I think it was, anybody's game. I wish K-State could have I wish they could have made the 2-point conversion. And I'd take my chances again there in that case, even if you're out there driving home and thinking, well, he's crazy, they probably still would have lost. Maybe, but I would have at least tried to get that 2-point conversion, because when you didn't get it, you're just psychologically, you're still 2 scores down against that defense. That's hard. Then you make a couple of mistakes, and now the game's out of hand. You agree with any of that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that there was a 4th and 3 second quarter, K-State's in plus territory, an opportunity to go up to a couple of scores, that Kleiman decided not to go for it and punt it on 4th and 3?
Yeah, I would say yes, just based on most of the time what he's done in the past. With that said, though, I think he knew, we knew, most know going in what they were defensively. Now, you can a lot of times make numbers work to your favor, but when they're giving up just a little under 2.2 yards per rush, man, that you can't mask that over, what would that have been, 8 games. That's unbelievable, regardless of competition. And K-State was only the 3rd team to get 100 yards rushing on them for the season. And, as I said, on 1 play by Avery. So I guess what I'm saying is I kind of understand, but I think a lot of times in those situations he has been the aggressor, but decided that time to kick it away.
The voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson, is our guest. Do you think Texas Tech wins the Big 12 and represents the Big 12 in the college football playoff?
I think they can. I have learned not. I think when BYU came into the league, I remember telling you, you will grow to dislike them because they'll be good at almost everything, and it's playing out that way because they recruit nationally and internationally, and they have lots and lots of resources and great facilities and all of those kind of things, and I think all of that is happening. But this year I have learned to not count them out, even regardless of the fact they're playing a freshman at quarterback. Their defense is good. They're well coached. They have just enough juice on the offensive side to hang around, make plays. And, of course, BYU and Tech play this weekend. So if Tech would win that game, then I think you have to say that they would have the inside look at it. I just think they have the best defense in the league. I don't know that that's even debatable. Do you? The question will be, for me personally, especially now with Hammond out, can Baron Morton stay upright and healthy through the duration here, because he has been injury prone? And if he does not, do they have enough juice with the 3rd string guy who is a senior and he's been around He's played okay. Can they, get to that highest level in a championship game and then in the subsequent playoffs or what have you, and really do anything? And that's a hard call, man. It's tough to do that.
Wyatt, got you here for a couple of more minutes. Let's talk real quick about basketball because the men play tomorrow against UNC Greensboro. But you've now called 2 exhibitions. I barely got to watch any of it because I've been calling Manhattan High the last 2 Fridays. So I'm not there. I don't have quite enough of the eye test to really, I feel like, give you a solid diagnosis so far. But I mean, generally speaking, a lot of offense, not enough defense. Is that about it?
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty fair statement. I mean, they scored 91 in a loss at Mizzou against a pretty good team that wasn't at full strength, but close. And probably, frankly, a little stunning, even though they scored 112 points, that they gave up 90 to Newman the other night and 18 threes. That, I think everybody has some concern about that. I think we've said through the preseason that with PJ and hopefully with Abdi and Nate and a few of the other guys, that it will be a little bit easier to score this year. I think they'll take better care of the ball. The question will be, how will the bigs play, and can they defend and rebound enough to really compete and be a tournament team? And I think that's certainly the question after 2 exhibition games. I don't think that's changed. The only thing that I think that should be noted, and some are understanding of it and others aren't, I'm talking about the fan base, and you know how that goes. I understand it. I think there are some out there that don't think K-State's very good at all right now, and that defensively, and that's probably a fair statement. I don't know necessarily what they're going to look like 3 or 4 games down the road or a month down the road. To me, that's the real question. Can they shore some things up? Because they've worked on a ton of offense, putting in a new offense with Coach Driscoll, but not as much on the defensive end. And brother, you can tell it. They've got to find a way to get better there. It's just, I think everybody sees it.
What's something you can share about UNC Greensboro?
Interesting team, really. In visiting with Coach today at that little presser, I think he has a lot of respect for Mike Jones and the job he does. They've won there a lot. Last year they were 20-12. The year before they were 21-11. The year before that they were 20-12. So they're fairly consistent in what they do. Finished second in the Southern Conference last year, the SoCon as they call it. It's interesting, like most teams, though, in trying to give you a little bit of a scouting report, they really only have one guy that played a lick last year, and that was the Kausinas kid from Lithuania, and he only played in 13 games and averaged less than 2 points a game. But they've got transfers from St. Francis, Albany, UCF, a really nice player from the Division II that's their point guard, Donald Whitehead, Pennsylvania kid. And like K-State, a little bit of foreign flavor. They've got a kid from Ireland who played as a youth with Moby and also at Ellsworth Community College. Got a young man from Africa, one from Denmark, one from France. So I'm not totally sure what they're going to do offensively, but just based on what they've done in the past, they will guard. They were one of the better teams last year at their level with field goal percentage defense, 3-point percentage defense, and so on. So they'll come in and fight, I think. They don't have fabulous size, but they have a little bit, and I think they'll be a representative team. How's that?
Sounds good to me. So you're thinking 100, 110 points for K-State?
I'm going to say
if Greensboro's a decent defensive team,
to that mark.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that the game probably will be something more like the 80s. Okay. What will K-State give up too? That's the other factor. I don't know that I necessarily have a great feel for that yet, and we probably won't know now until tomorrow night. But I had a guy jokingly say to me over the weekend, he says, I don't care who it is, I don't know that we'll ever play a game again that with a team that makes 18 threes. Do you think that's true?
I doubt it.
That's a boatload of threes, man.
Yeah, I mean some of it is just, skill, and some of it I think could be just dumb luck.
Yeah, and again, you have several guys that were crazy hot, and again, defense was part of it. I get it, but man, that's hard to get to. That's hard to get to 18, boy. In my mind.
All right, Wyatt. We'll see you in Bramlage tomorrow night. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, partner. Appreciate it, man.
Wyatt Thompson, voice of the Wildcats. Man, it's kind of weird to say. We're going to talk about it more, Tim, here in just a moment, about the men's basketball team now as we fully transition into overlap season. This can be a really big basketball week here on the show with no football, even though there's certainly some football storylines heading into this final bye week. But it's kind of weird to say, but after all these points I've seen scored by K-State, I kind of still feel like I have more concerns than I do positive feelings, optimism about this team so far. Let's pause, and we'll get to it when we come back. Storylines for men's basketball, plus women's basketball starts their season tonight against Omaha, 6:30 tip-off from Bramlage Coliseum. More Wildcat Insider after these words.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider.
Hi, I'm Manhattan City Commissioner Peter Opelt. After serving in the Army at Fort Riley, my wife and I chose Manhattan to raise our family and grow roots. I've been proud to serve our community, helping hire a great new city manager, pushing for housing policies that support working families, and leading with honesty and transparency. Now I'm asking for your vote to keep building a stronger, more resilient Manhattan. Service is a privilege, and I'd be honored to continue serving you. Vote Peter Opelt on or before Tuesday, November 4th. Paid for by Peter Opelt for Manhattan City Commission, Grace Darling, Treasurer.
Medicare's annual enrollment is here, October 15th through December 7th. It's your chance to review or change your prescription drug plan. Premiums, copays, and even which medications are covered can change every year. Don't risk paying more or having your prescriptions left out. I'm Malia McKinney with L&L Advisors. I'll compare your plans side by side to make sure your medications are covered at the best cost. Local, genuine, and here for you. Call 785-280-9621 today.
Manhattan Broadcasting is an equal opportunity employer. In order to widely publicize our job opportunities and outreach programs and organizations that regularly distribute information to job seekers or refers candidates to employers, please contact us about our employment contact list to receive the most current information about station vacancies. For more information or to be added to the list, please contact Manhattan Broadcasting Company at 785-776-1350. Visit us at 2414 Casement Road in Manhattan, Kansas, or email front desk at 1350kman.com.
Blueville Nursery's Horticulture Hints radio show comes to your radio every Friday morning at 10 a.m. We will discuss timely gardening and landscape topics to help you keep your lawn and garden in tip-top shape. Blueville Nursery has been your local landscape service and garden store for over 50 years, and we want to share our time-tested techniques with you. From vegetable gardening, spring and summer annuals, to shade trees and lawn care, we'll cover it all. You're welcome to call into the show to ask questions that apply to your own landscape or garden. Stay tuned to Blueville Nursery's Horticulture Hints radio show every Friday at 10 a.m. right here on News Radio KMAN.
Hello, I am Lou Faust, candidate for Manhattan-Ogden USD 383 Board of Education. I am running because I believe education is the foundation for lifelong learning, earning, and engaged citizenship. My priorities are success for all students, supporting teachers and school staff, and making responsible use of the available resources. I encourage you to vote on or before November 4th. Paid for by Faust 383 BOE, Dustin Dunce, Treasurer.
When severe weather rolls in, every second counts, and we're here to keep you ahead of the storm. Count on us for the latest alerts, live updates, and real-time tracking to help protect you, your family, and your property. From heavy rain and damaging winds to hail and dangerous storms, we'll guide you through the changing conditions and keep you informed when it matters most. Powered by Candlewood Veterinary Clinic, Manhattan Wrecker, Hummel Tree Service, Tallgrass Windows, and Ozone Roofing.
I'm Gavin Hyatt with a Wildcat Insider Sports Update brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. K-State football has received another commitment for the 2026 class. going over the pond to land Swedish defensive tackle Adrian Bekebele. Bekebele is a part of PPI Recruits, a group in Europe that tours in the United States. When on tour in 2024, he received offers from Georgia and Florida, as well as Buffalo and Sacramento State. Bekebele is the second defensive tackle in the 2026 K-State class, joining Kingston Hall out of Oklahoma. The Big 12 Conference and ESPN announced Monday that Kansas State's November 15th contest at Oklahoma State will kick at 11 a.m. and be televised on ESPNU. This week is K-State's third and final bye week of the season. K-State women's basketball player Kenny Taylor has had her waiver for a fifth season of eligibility denied by the NCAA, the school announced on Sunday. Taylor petitioned for the NCAA for a fifth year of college eligibility after starting her career at Colorado in the 2021-22 season, where she played in only 8 games for a total of 19 minutes. She then played 2 seasons at Missouri State before joining the Wildcats. During her 1 season in Manhattan in 2024 and 2025, Taylor played in 36 games and averaged 7.1 points and 5 rebounds per game. K-State women's basketball will tip at 6:30, pregame at 6 p.m. on Sunny 102.5 and News Radio KMAN.
Yeah, good news for K-State football today. They land a 2026 recruit. It's been a while since we've got the cat signal from Taylor Bratt. But the Cats will be adding Adrian, I forgot how you said the name there, Gavin.
Bekebele? We don't exactly know.
Yeah, Bekebele or something. Yeah, something like that. Sweden, tour of the United States, got some SEC offers, Georgia and Florida in there. Among other offers, he's a 3-star defensive tackle, like 6'3", 300. I mean, he's a big kid, very athletic kid. There's a bunch of videos of him on YouTube working out, and he looks like a hell of an athlete. And this was this took a while to get done. He was in town this weekend, so the Cats are back on the board for 26.
Yeah, I mean, look, you gotta, as Jerome Tang would say, you gotta flip over all the stones, and it'll be interesting to see. If this international edition is going to work out, they're going to need defensive tackles because they will lose both Damian Ilalio and Uso Seumalo.
And other good news as well. I mean, about the recruiting class, like K-State. I mean, fingers crossed they don't lose anybody. They have not lost anybody for this 2026 class. No flips. They're still looking to flip some kids. And so, I mean, I take that certainly as a positive. When a team struggles, I mean, we kind of saw it recently.
Yeah.
For KU, they've lost a recruit or two because of this. For their tough year, losing to K-State, things like that. There's rumors that a coach or two are going to leave or whatever. Could Lance Leipold, lackluster Lance, be going somewhere else? They're 5-4. K-State's 4-5, coming off the loss to Texas Tech, but KU struggled in the first half against Oklahoma State, so they're not exactly in a great spot right now either. Back to men's basketball. We got the season opener tomorrow evening, and that game will tip off at 7. Pre-game coverage will be at 6 here on K-Man. The Wildcats hosting UNC Greensboro to open up the regular season. And were you at the exhibition on Halloween?
I was not there, but I was covering it from our newsroom.
Could you tell what the crowd was like? Was there anybody there?
It did not seem like a lot. I don't know. I don't have a number, but it remains a mystery why they chose to do it.
Maybe there are reasons why they did it 7:00 Halloween, but I thought it was a big mistake to schedule that game at that time. So I'm sure people would love to come out and watch that team play and see them for the first time. But for most, looks like it's going to have to be UNC Greensboro at some point later down the road for maybe more of an exciting game. I was kind of disappointed with the crowd at the Bill on Saturday. There was energy for the first couple of drives, but just kind of feeding off of the vibe of the Bill. It was there's a chance, but the offense just kind of sloppy and not really. It doesn't seem like they're going to get back into this, and plus the exit reentry is just a disaster. So, but at the same time, on the men's basketball side, is it Halloween's one thing, but also can this team start winning first, and then the people start to come back? I I'd mentioned before the break that, it's still, to me, for whatever reason, I say whatever reason, there's reasons why I kind of right now still have more concerns than I do have things that keep me optimistic and excited about this year. I'm excited because it's a new year. I'm always excited for a new year, and there's talent on this team, no doubt about it. But there have been some great things and some not so great things during the exhibitions. I think you've seen some of the same in both games with completely different levels of competition, where the Cats have struggled on defense. The big change was transition defense, where they were way better against Newman. Offensively, it seems like they could be a team that could just score lights out, maybe night in and night out. It's hard to tell right now. I have no idea how good this team is going to be. I wrote down here on the sheet here, storylines heading into the year. Tim, if you have a storyline or two, like right off the top of the dome, what to you is maybe the biggest storyline heading into this season about K-State men's basketball?
Well, I think that the biggest one, maybe not the most pressing currently after these first two exhibitions, but of anything, is just PJ Haggerty. I mean, I think that is you managed to get the top returning scorer in college basketball to come and play for your team. This is, coming in the wake of K-State landing several other high-profile transfers in the portal over the last, ever since Jerome Tang got here. Is he gonna live up to that high billing that others that the national media have given him, and then stuff that Jerome Tang has said about him? He's been very, very complimentary about not only his play, but also just the leadership and the professionalism that he brings in the locker room, which I think is maybe a little bit of a change from how things have been in the past with other, we're not going to say any names, Coleman Hawkins, but it's different.
Doug
McDaniel, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I hope he's doing okay in Memphis. I think K-State fans, at least through two exhibitions, feel pretty good about that trade. I think Jerome Tang feels really good about that trade.
I feel really good about that trade. Yes.
Yeah, so I would say that is where everything starts, because if you want to have a special season, a season where you kind of rise above the middling expectations of this team going into the season, you need PJ Haggerty to be a guy that is, contending to be a first or second All Big 12 type guy, which seems very possible that he could do that.
Well, look, I mean, I mentioned earlier about, football, at times you could pour in money and then you just don't get the right guys that you felt like you were getting with your money, and it could be off the floor stuff, it could be in-game stuff that they just don't respond. And, K-State, I think I'm not telling any tales out of school that, they had some guys that had some pretty big egos, did not take some things too seriously. For example, Shark Week with Coleman Hawkins, with his response and his things he posted on social media, get out there and going viral for sure. Semi-viral, through K-State fans and stuff. And Doug McDaniel seemed like to be, at the very least, a handful off the floor, out of games. And it took him a while to actually get on the floor and for Jerome Tang to let him loose and trust him with the basketball. He had the most annoying offensive game out of any point guard that K-State has had, in my opinion, through the Tang era. Yeah. The floaters, man, they killed me. Oh, my gosh, I couldn't stand it. Could get them to go. When they win, I was pretty impressed, but
yeah,
anyway.
It's tough.
I feel way better about PJ Haggerty being the leader of this team. He seems like he's grounded. He's mature, which is something this team lacked last year, maturity.
Well, he's a guy with a clear goal, right? And that goal is, he has the skills to be a NBA player. He does. And he's been told as such, but he needs to be more consistent. He needs to be more of a leader. He needs to kind of develop kind of his point guard skill set a little bit more. And those are all things that, Jerome Tang is trying to bring out of him. And from all indication, has been very, very pleased with the progress that he's made since he's gotten to Manhattan.
Gavin?
Yeah, there was a caller I just called, just real quick. I know it's kind of off topic. You kind of passed by it with football, but Someone just asked, with K-State's remaining 3 games and KU's remaining 3 games, who is the more likelihood to reach a bowl game?
K-State.
K-State.
Yeah,
that's K-State.
Yeah, and that's kind of what he said. He just want to get your thoughts on it.
No, K-State, if they don't make a bowl game, that would be extremely surprising. It'd be the second most surprising thing of the year. The most surprising being this team not being, a 9-win contender for the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, KU has to play Arizona, who is better than them and just has been.
And shouldn't be, right?
And shouldn't be, but is.
Yeah.
Iowa State, which, who knows? They've kind of owned the Cyclones over the last several years, and they're real, if their free fall continues, that could be a win. And then they also have to play Utah to close out the season, and that's just a tough.
I think that's in Lawrence.
I don't think any team from the state of Kansas is beating Utah this year. So
yeah, KU could lose out. Wouldn't surprise me if they did.
They could lose out 100%. I would say one win is a possibility, and so would that get them to? Are they at 4 wins? Or they're
5-4.
They're 5.
The schedule you just gave me.
Yeah.
5-7 is my guess.
Yeah.
You have another storyline, men's basketball storylines heading into the year.
Yeah, I think that the biggest, the second biggest thing is kind of, low key. Jerome Tang is. No one has said this. It's not like Gene Taylor has been like, hey, but I kind of think he's kind of coaching for his job here this season. Missing three straight seasons without going to the NCAA tournament got Bruce Weber fired. I think that if you are a program that K-State aspires to, that you should hold yourself to that. And so once again, they've brought in it's been kind of the same deal every single year under Tang. They brought in a bunch of people. One year it worked incredibly well. One year they didn't bring in enough guys. And, it was just kind of Tyler Perry and the gang. And they didn't have enough horses to finish out the season. Last year they got the wrong guys, and it was just an absolute nightmare locker room situation. Can they pull it together this year and make it back to the NCAA tournament and be in the conversation in the Big 12 this year? Because the patience, I think we're at a pretty good spot right now where people like the additions that people have brought in. The excitement is slightly more tepid than maybe it has been, but it's there. But if things start to take an early nosedive in the non-conference, like we've seen in the past, it will get very ugly with the fan base, like it did at the end of last year. And that is where it's kind of at right now. It's put up or shut up time for the men's basketball team.
We got to take a break. K-State men hosting UNC Greensboro tomorrow at 7. More of Wildcat Insider next.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider, ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Evan Cohen.
Last week on Unsportsmanlike, weekday morning, 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern, here on ESPN Radio, I dismissed the notion that the Carolina Panthers could ever upset the Green Bay Packers. Didn't even believe it. Michelle Smallman brought up the hypothetical. Chris Canty and I shot it down. Well, that was a mistake. I still cannot believe that Green Bay, at one point the number 1 seed in the NFC, lost to Carolina 16-13. They're 5-2-1 are the Packers on the season. They lost Tucker Kraft, their tight end. Their general manager has done everything that a head coach could ask for. They went out and got Micah Parsons. At some point, it's more than just the quarterback. But it is fair right now for us to put both Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love in our crosshairs. Both need to perform better. Both should not have 2 losses on the resume this year to the Cleveland Browns and Carolina Panthers. I thought they were Super Bowl contenders, and right now, they're definitively not that. Coming up, why the game of the year means little.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
Congrats to the Buffalo Bills, who once again beat Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season. This time, 28-21 in Buffalo. Josh Allen is now 5-1 in the regular season against Mahomes. Yay. Congratulations. You did it again. I'm not taking anything away from Buffalo. Well, maybe I am, but I don't understand why I'm supposed to celebrate this win. Buffalo is a great football team with an MVP quarterback. Buffalo is a team that is supposed to get to a place of maybe possibly winning it all this year. But still, even as Kansas City is on the outside looking in of the AFC playoffs, yes, you heard that right, they're the 8th seed, I still would be more likely to pick Kansas City to win it all than I would be Buffalo, because we've seen in this matchup what happens in the regular season does not matter. Yes, 8th seed. Only 7 teams that could make the playoffs, but I'll take the 8th seed over Buffalo any day of the week in the postseason. Yesterday, unfortunately for the Bills, didn't matter. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Evan Cohen.
News Radio, KMAN, weather.
Currently in Manhattan, sunny skies and 59 degrees, with winds gusting to the northeast at around 8 miles an hour. Tonight, sunny skies with mostly cloudy with a low of around 44. Tomorrow, sunny skies and a high near 74, with winds gusting to the southwest at 10 to 15 miles an hour, mainly in the morning. Tomorrow night, mostly clear skies with a low of around 46. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 64, with winds gusting to the north 5 to 10 miles an hour.
All right. K-State women's basketball tonight. Before we get there, I just noticed there's an upset alert. Number 6, Oklahoma, halfway through the third, only winning by 2 against Belmont. Belmont, an NCAA tournament team that K-State smoked last year. And now they're giving Oklahoma everything they can handle. Oklahoma, the number 6 team in the country. That Beers gal still there pouring them in. But we'll get to, for basketball, it's today in the Big 12 as the season tips off. But there are some finals. Number 16, Baylor beat number 7, Duke, 58-52. Number 14, Iowa State, Audie Crooks with 20 points, beating St. Thomas by 50. Utah beat Sioux Falls, yada, yada, yada. We'll get to the men's slate here in just a moment. But K-State women's basketball opens the season tonight in Bramlage. Hope there's a good crowd there. I think this is an exciting team despite being young and inexperienced. You know, the way what I took away from Tarleton is exactly what Coach Mitty had been telling us. When they scrimmage, when they practice, it is some really good stretches and then some rough stretches. There is the inconsistencies, but I mean, believe it or not, I'm more optimistic about this team than I am. I mean, for the third season in a row, I'm more excited about K-State women's basketball than I am men's basketball.
As it should be.
I think we can tell the women, they recruited some shooters. I think Azella Arenas is going to be really special. She could be a true leader for this team. I mean, they hit 14 threes against Tarleton State. What they, I thought, did well in that exhibition was in their hot stretches, they found hot shooters.
Yeah.
The gals that are hitting the shots, feed them the ball and let them keep shooting. And you had 2 instances where players hit 3 threes in a row and were on fire, and that was a lot of fun to watch. And then there are the stretches where the ball just isn't going to the hoop. Good shots, but the ball just isn't falling. It's not going through the hoop. I think they could get to the free throw line more, and not having the size they should does make that tough. And they need to take care of the ball better. Defensively, it's just like the offense. Great stretches, some stretches not so great.
Yeah, I'm very excited for tonight. One thing that I thought was super interesting, the Tarleton scrimmage, Taryn Sides did not play well in that first half offensively, but she managed to get a bunch of rebounds, managed to get a bunch of assists, and then eventually She had a couple threes to fall, and she ended up, I think, leading the team in rebounding.
She did.
For that game, which is not probably what you want, but also when you are a team that's a little height, size challenged, sometimes that's just going to happen. It's the people that are putting out the most effort are going to get those boards, and Taryn is all effort.
But they do have one big concern, and that is not enough bigs. Yeah. No Kennedy Taylor. They only have one player of size that is actually a center type of size. That's Ramaya White, who in the exhibition, she played 19 minutes, didn't get the ball a lot, and her rebounding was a bit up and down. I did like her defensively. She was really solid. Like, she was a force on defense, but offensively just wasn't really a threat.
But she's also super, like, she's a sophomore, but that's a sophomore after, like, not playing a whole lot at Virginia Tech. So she is still very raw. That'll be the fun thing to watch for this entire team. We're going to see probably a lot of improvement as the season goes on. A lot of steps being taken.
I think this could be, if it's not fully shown this year, in a year or two, it's going to be real special. This is a team full of what I've called blue chippers that are just very inexperienced at the college level. Very inexperienced, very young team. Taryn Sides, no doubt, is the most experienced player. Not just at K-State overall. It didn't matter where they played previously. Is far and away the most experienced player on this team.
Well, probably Tess Heel.
Well, and Tess Heel, yes.
Yeah.
Tess Hill's the oldest, she is the leader.
Yeah.
As I've heard, she is the leader of the team. You're right, Tess Hill from Stanford in a previous stop.
Santa Clara.
Yeah. So I stand corrected. But other than her.
Other than those two, it is
the two shortest players on the team.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
With the most
crazy
experience. All right, this week in the Big 12, in the football side of things, really it's one game. It's a big game. It's BYU Texas Tech. It's number 8 versus number 9. First time. I got to go back and look and see what game it was, but I've been told it's the first. Well, would it have been the Big 12 championship game? I think it is. The last Big 12 top 10 matchup was the 2022 Big 12 championship game.
There you go.
And it's also the last time College Game Day was at a Big 12 game, which was last week with Utah and Cincinnati. This is a better game. BYU, Texas Tech, 8 versus 9. That's going to kick at 11 a.m. That's going to go head-to-head with Big Noon kickoff. And I'm not even sure what Big Noon is, what game they have, but they're going to go head-to-head, and Texas Tech is a 10.5-point favorite. So, it's Indiana Penn State.
That makes sense.
I think. Is it? Yeah, I think it is Indiana Penn State.
No, Iowa City for Iowa, Oregon. Yeah.
Oh. Well, here's the problem, though. If you're like a YouTube TV subscriber, wait, that's an ABC game. That's not Disney. Is that Disney? That is Disney. They're the ones that can Jimmy Kimmel for like a week, right?
Yes.
Okay, so may not be able to watch the game.
Yeah.
Go to a Bottle Cap Sports Bar.
Yes, absolutely.
That's probably where I'll be Saturday at 11 a.m. so I can watch the game. But also this week in the Big 12, real quick, we got Colorado, West Virginia, KU at Arizona. They kick at 2:30. Iowa State, TCU. And we have a Friday game, Houston and UCF, kickoff at 7 on FS1. How about today, basketball, Big 12, the big game. It tips off in 5 minutes on TNT. Number 3, Florida. Number 13, Arizona. They start out in Vegas. That's the game to open up the weekend, in my opinion. That's a huge game. That was a barn burner the last time they two met in the regular season. KU plays tonight against Green Bay at 7. Nothing else really notable. Oh, actually, I take that back. BYU Villanova will be the game that follows on TNT. So a hell of a doubleheader to open up the year. So I'll probably have that on the laptop while we're out in Bramlage.
Absolutely.
All right, Tim, it's time for us to get out to Bramlage. I want to thank Gavin Hyatt. I want to thank Cole Dutchendorf for the work across the glass. And we're with you for 2 hours of the game tomorrow to get you set for K-State men's basketball. A lot of previewing, a lot of predictions, things like that. And it's going to wrap up the show. Hopefully see you to Bramlage tonight, tomorrow. Go Cats.
Getting you closer to the locker room than anyone else. This is Wildcat Insider. Wildcat Insider, an exclusive presentation of the flagship station of the K-State Sports Network. News Radio 1350, KMAN.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Dollars spent locally today help build a better community for tomorrow.
Quality Collision is still open for business while they improve the intersection by the dam. Dodging a few orange cones is worth it to receive quality restoration. Keep your car looking as good as the day you bought it. Quality Collision, where quality is more than their name. It's a promise to their customers.
Connect to anywhere in the world with daily flights to Dallas and Chicago when you fly local with Manhattan Regional Airport. You'll spend less time driving, saving you gas and time, and more importantly, you'll get home quicker to the ones you love. Click your next flight at flymhk.com.
Turkey time is almost here. Make your Thanksgiving complete with the turkey cake from Baskin-Robbins, made with your favorite ice cream and covered in a caramel glaze, guaranteed not to be undercooked, dry, and it's deboned. Order now at BaskinRobbins.com or through the app. Baskin-Robbins, locally owned in downtown Manhattan.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Find more great local businesses plus special deals and offers when you keep it local on our website.
In Manhattan, building community means more than bricks and beams. It means innovation and partnership. At McCown Gordon Construction, we deliver feature-focused solutions to projects that shape our region. From advanced research labs to vibrant education, healthcare, and community hubs. We're not just building projects, we're building the future of the Flint Hills with unmatched customer experience and value-driven strategies. We're building for tomorrow. Visit kansas.mccown-gordon.com.
At Stormontville Health, our patients are our neighbors and our communities are home.
We invest in your health and our community by bringing high-quality healthcare closer to home. From our Wamego Clinic to our new campus in Manhattan and the Flint Hills Hospital in Junction City. Our partnerships with organizations like the Mayo Clinic and the Children's Miracle Network bring top-notch expertise to our region. We take pride in local collaboration to stay connected to our communities.